course we would have to do an episode on Tenpai. Making sure you guys are keeping up with that holiday spirit, but welcome back to an episode of 12 days of giveaways and 12 days of deck profiles. Hey, we got another special giveaway for you. Robbie, why do you never show the prizes over here? Well, I'm very ill prepared, I'm sorry, but your previous winner will be down below so you guys can walk away with it. And of course, yeah, just trust me, Jem sent me a huge box of things. I've been pulling out something each and every day and shipping it on over. So, it is time for Tenpai Dragons. Chris Waters sent me over a Tenpai list on Facebook and said, Tenpai for new format. And I was like, you know, I kind of wanted a nice in-between episode while we're kind of waiting to like get some testing in on Dragon Mates here. But I do hope you enjoy some hilarious Yu-Gi-Oh here. So we are going to Fool Wars. All right, of course, right? Here comes the Unicorn. I'll go ahead and deploying. Here comes the Birth, then of course the Malice and Underground. Yeah, they got full combo here. But I mean, the question is like, how far do you actually go in this situation? Here comes the White Rabbit triggering. All right, we'll go ahead and get our free set. All right, and then we're just going to go ahead and get a nice one to draw one over to our opponent and pass turn. Hey, look at that. We did it. We got them to end on a Hearts Cryptor and a Unicorn. I mean, that's a pretty sensible board, right? Let's tear it apart, shall we? Terraforming for the one of. I love this deck so much. Here comes MTP to bully me because, you know, goodbye, Field Spell. Normal Summon Pydra. And you want to see a magic trick? Hey, look, it's Kaiman. Battle Phase Kaiman on into Chandra. Time to lethal. All right, here comes the Birth. No real biggie here. We'll go ahead and lose those. We'll attack, trigger this, bring up Fadra. Go ahead and drop it on off. Hey, look, we've cleared the board. Nice little attempt to TB here. We'll go ahead and make that so we don't have to worry about any BS. We'll go ahead and get our Revive on up here. And then it's just full gas from there. Isn't that actually kind of very unique in what you can actually do? Now this is just a hilarious little action replay. I've ran into so much trap tricks on the ladder while playing today. Like, this is actually kind of the nuts. So you do see the Fool Wars again. I'm assuring you there's no correlation to the replays I picked with opening Fool Wars. Alright, they're actually just, we drew a lot of Fool Wars today. Go ahead and Veiler that. Don't need to worry about that thing getting its value. They have the Garden. Get the little free extender here. We're like, okay, sure. All right, we'll go ahead. Nice little Sarah. Go ahead and set that nice little trap hole. All right, go ahead and extend on down. Here comes the Rafflesia. And then we drew Ultimate Slayer. Talk about just sacking your opponent. Like, you actually drew the Slayer. Like, actually feels good. Here comes the Slayer. Go ahead and toss the Meteor Logic. Go ahead and negate the Sarah. Now we just get to play the game. Genroku Tribute. Hey, look. It's a free Pydra. Trying to scout and see if my opponent wants to negate that very good card, or use that card they had back there, but... Or, you know, we'll wait for them to use it here. Go Battle Phase, attack, trigger Chandra, special summon up this bad card. Alright, nice Trap Trick Garden for protection. Go ahead and swing on in. Go ahead and make the big Synchro here. They're going to go ahead and Trap Tricks us here. We're going to go ahead and Synchro Jump anyway, just to make this. You could have argued I could have made that earlier and not worried about it, but it's fine. Go ahead and swing on over, and then it's all just Kaiman from here. Like, this is actually disgusting, just watching this deck actually do what it needs to do. Synchro Jump. Yay, we did it. Some ignorant Yu-Gi-Oh! For sure. Alright, so this was also a hilarious one. This one gets in the books just because, like, this man Earth Barrier statured me. There's a lot of trap tricks today. I actually am genuinely impressed with how many trap tricks is here. We'll go ahead and Field Spell time. Alright, go ahead and imperm that. They're going to go ahead and Sacred Tree. I don't know why they're playing Sacred Tree, I'm going to be honest with you. Here comes the Sengen summoning. We'll go ahead and get Ash. We'll go ahead and cross it out. I don't really want to worry about dealing with that. Comes the Ant Jaw, I suppose. Very, very intriguing. We'll go ahead and discard the good card. So I'll summon up the Genroku, and we're off to the races for Tenpai. Hey, look. I can't believe they tried to trap hole the Mass Dragon. It's a fire monster. It's not getting destroyed. Alright, and then clear the field. Chandra, go ahead. Synchro Jump, and they're going to go ahead and Mole Cricket on up for a wall here. It's not going to matter. We have all the damage that we could ever actually want here, because this will go ahead and jump into the Trident, and you're going to see that concede button being made here. Now, we also have, this was a fun one. My opponent was just infinitely better than me in this matchup. Like, this was insane. This was actually Yubel versus me. I was like, okay, you know, we got the Perulia, we got called by, sure, that's fine. You know, and here comes the Nightmare Throne. I was like, okay, you know, standard yubel plays. We go ahead and imperm here. Usually a great place to cut our opponent off, which it was. All right, but our opponent has this card right here. Here comes the Pydra. We'll go ahead and get impermed. We'll go ahead and call Cross out, which I was like, okay, hey, you know, like, we're in a really good position here. You know, don't got to really worry about anything. We'll go ahead and use this. Go ahead and get the free value here. Special the Chunder, and we just win, right? No, we get super polyed. Story as old as time. You gotta love to see it, man. I played this as well as I could have. Like, my opponent just had the out. There's nothing that you can do about it. And then yubel just goes ahead and he picks apart my board. You know, they have the Squirmer, the Throne here. They'll go ahead and get the Terror loaded on up here. Up comes actual base form yubel into the Unchained. And, you know, this is the story as old as time. You know, we'll go ahead and start making the Unchained board. Up comes their one Phantom. They cannot waste that Phantom anymore. And then we'll go ahead and take 7k here. They were actually a K short. It was really disappointing, but they're in such a good position here. Here comes the Unchained. Garua gets them a resource. Nice Ash. Yeah, I wasn't beating this. Holy crap. And then they go ahead and pass turn. We'll go ahead and attempt. They're going to go ahead and pop. You know, we know they had it. And Unchained stack up. We're going to hit that concede button here because we are not breaking this. This next one is actually one of my favorite replays of the day. This is just me. So this is two going second decks going at it. My opponent's like, oh, hey, you know, what are you going to do here? I was like, okay, you know, we got double Fua. Like, we had to go first. I'll go ahead and double Fua him since we had to pass turn one because, you know, they're playing going first. And I was like, okay, they're just better than me because they opened up the King Sark. I was like, oh, hey, they play around, you know, Fua. It's cool that, you know, we had all that gas in the world to double Fua Wars them, but our opponent has 8k damage. So we Valor here to inconvenience them. And they're like, oh, okay, here, go ahead and get a draw too. Like, what are you going to do? We got 8k damage on the field. You just lose the game. Like, this is just one of those really weird ha-ha moments that you just kind of really appreciate in terms of your opponent just blowing you out of the water. So this was also another hilarious replay. I like trying to include these because these are just like, what in the world moments. So we're going to get shifted, which does not matter in the least. All right, we'll go ahead and discard that. Genroku special summon itself. All right, we'll go ahead and normal summon Pydra. We'll go ahead, add the card to hand, and we're just make Spheres pass, right? Like that's pretty standard for what you want to do. They top deck the Feather Duster. I'm sweating here. They Allure Darkness, and they lose their whole hand. I was like, why? Why did you make that level of play? But, you know, this is the adventures of the wacky, zany adventures of being a Tenpai main. The things that you see out here, and like the crazy ideas that people do. You see, we're building up the whole OTK here because our opponent just was like, oh, hey, never mind, quick synchro jump. All right, and done. All right, and then our last little adventure here. This was actually something I did not expect. I know that people were testing this, but he actually opened up the Protos. Made a questionable play here. So we actually go ahead and Synthana start, make the Link 1, special summon this, and then bump into Link 1. I actually Magna Hut this. I was like, whatever, if he's got more, I lose. But no, surprisingly, they were on Brick Central, which I'm really glad because they had the Protos in hand. That would have been really bad. So now we're just going to go ahead and do Tenpai things here. Go ahead and kick off into the Pydra. Go ahead and bring up Yield Field Spell here. And then this is one of those cases where Ultimate Slayer is about to be my best friend in the whole wide world here. Go ahead and recruit for a good card. Go ahead and special summon up the Chandra. And then just make the big card. We want to go ahead and get impermed. Sure, not really that big of a deal. All right. Can't even imperm me. All right, Ultimate Slayer, and then just clean up aisle 9. Gotta love that protection. Up comes the Fadra, and you know this is all that they wrote at this point. This is why Tenpai is such a fun deck. Now let's pass on over so you can take a look at this pile. All right, so once again, I want to thank Chris for sending this over. This really piqued my interest because I just wanted to. I still love Tenpai as a deck. I understand it's not quite as consistent as it used to be, but that's fine. So, I mean, we're still bulking down on hand traps. Magna Hut's still really good. Dora is going to be something we're probably going to have to explore to play. Of course, hand traps. And yes, we are playing the Masked Dragon. It is a fire monster, by the way. There is a level of synergy to actually considering playing this. And, of course, all the Mulcharmies in the world. And then, of course, one Chandra. And then, of course, we're only playing one Fadra. I really want to have the other copy in here, but man, you cannot justify it. And the Genrokus and the Pydra. And then, of course, the anti-fun cards, droplets for board breaking, Pot of Prosperity with the Kaiman, the Manor, and, of course, Terraforming with the main deck Ultimate Slayers. I think this is actually correct. And then, of course, Imperms, extra deck. I mean, all of your lines of play here, just to be able to kind of climb up into the bigger plays to make the Promethean for the revive. Of course, Aggregator, and then all of your Tenpai standard stuff. And then a Garua to net some resources. And then, of course, Lancias, the Drago, the Nibiru, Feather Duster, Heat Waves, the Heavy Storms, and, of course, Dimensional Barriers. It's going to clean your opponent up here. I think that this deck is actually pretty solid for what you want to do with it. But, you know, this wraps up today's episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! So leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.